Think for a moment about the words you speak to yourself every day. Not the casual, I'm tired or I have so much to do, but the deeper, more enduring statements, the ones that quietly echo in your mind and shape how you feel, how you act, and ultimately how you live. Words are not just symbols or sounds. They are carriers of energy. They are tools of creation. The language we use, especially toward ourselves, forms the very architecture of our consciousness. If you speak doubt, fear, or limitation to yourself, those words become the blueprint for your life. But if you speak blessings, if you affirm strength, value, and possibility, you begin to lay a foundation for transformation. Psychologists have long explored the idea that our internal dialogue, the constant commentary in our minds, directly affects our emotions, decisions, and behaviors. Neuroscience supports this. Every time you repeat a thought, whether it's I can't do this or I am capable and deserving, you are strengthening neural pathways in your brain. Those pathways determine how you respond to challenges, how resilient you are under stress, and even how you perceive opportunities. So when you intentionally speak blessings upon yourself, you are literally rewiring your brain for a different reality. It's not just motivational fluff, it's biology in action. Philosophically, this concept has deep roots. Across traditions, there's a recognition that reality is shaped by consciousness. What you carry inside you, your beliefs, your affirmations, your self-talk projects into the world around you. In essence, when you bless yourself, you are participating in an ancient and powerful principle. You are choosing to align your inner world with the life you want to live. Blessing yourself is an act of creation. It is the conscious declaration that you are worthy, capable, and open to receiving life's abundance. And yet, many of us underestimate the power of this practice. We think of blessings as something we give to others while reserving judgment and criticism for ourselves. But here is the profound truth. The way you treat yourself internally sets the tone for everything external. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot attract life's fullness if you are constantly undermining your own potential. When you speak blessings to yourself, you are not indulging in self-praise. You are cultivating a fertile soil in which growth, opportunity, and fulfillment can take root. Now, consider the subtlety of this act. You don't have to shout affirmations in front of a mirror or write grandiose statements in a journal to experience transformation. Even a quiet, intentional acknowledgement of your worth, your courage, your ability to navigate life carries power. It is consistency, not volume, that rewires your thought patterns. Each whispered blessing, each conscious acknowledgement of your value compounds over time, building resilience, clarity, and a sense of possibility that becomes unmistakable in your life. So I invite you to observe your words with curiosity and intentionality. Notice the subtle judgments, the doubts, the quiet undermining statements. Then deliberately replace them with blessings, simple, authentic, and direct. I am enough. I am capable. I am open to growth. These are not just phrases, they are seeds. Speak them, feel them, let them take root, and watch as your inner world begins to shift, how your outer world follows suit. Remember this, the words you speak to yourself are not just echoes in your mind, they are invitations to a new reality. Speak blessings and you do more than inspire yourself. You change the trajectory of your life. One word at a time, one blessing at a time, transformation becomes inevitable. Once we begin to speak blessings upon ourselves, a new dimension opens, a deeper layer of transformation that often goes unnoticed, self-compassion. So much of our struggle in life stems not from external circumstances, but from the harshness with which we treat ourselves. We are quick to criticize, to judge, to highlight every perceived failure, yet slow to acknowledge our courage, our resilience, or even our simple ability to keep moving forward. Self-compassion is the antidote to this internal friction. It is the conscious decision to hold yourself with kindness, understanding, and respect, even when life feels unrelenting. Psychologically, self-compassion is not mere self-indulgence. It is a powerful driver of growth. Research consistently shows that individuals who practice self-compassion are more resilient, more capable of handling setbacks, and more willing to take healthy risks. When you bless yourself, when you affirm your value and treat yourself with gentleness, you are engaging the same neural networks that foster emotional regulation, creativity, and problem solving. You are literally building a mind that is equipped to flourish under pressure rather than crumble. This is critical because life does not wait for us to feel ready or perfect. The difference between those who thrive and those who stagnate often lies in the inner dialogue they cultivate. Philosophically, the practice of self-compassion is a radical act. In a culture that prizes external achievement and public validation, to turn inward and speak blessings to yourself is to acknowledge your inherent worth independent of circumstance. You are saying, I am enough, I am whole, I am deserving of love, growth, and fulfillment. This is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is the recognition that your value does not need to be earned or proven to anyone because it is already present. When you accept this truth, the world responds differently. Your confidence deepens, your decisions become clearer, and your actions carry a quiet authority that is impossible to ignore. The subtlety of self-compassion lies in its practice. It is not about masking difficulties with empty platitudes. It is about acknowledging your humanity, the struggles, the failures, the fears, and responding with a steady, nurturing presence within yourself. Think of it as holding your own hand through life's storms. When you bless yourself in this way, you create an internal environment where mistakes become lessons rather than proof of inadequacy, where setbacks become temporary rather than defining, and where hope is not fragile but resilient. Consider the transformative ripple effect this creates. When you practice self-compassion, your relationship with yourself improves, and this inevitably reshapes your interactions with others. You become less reactive, less judgmental, more present. The kindness you cultivate internally extends outward, touching your relationships, your work, and the broader world. By blessing yourself, you are not only changing your life, you are recalibrating the energy you bring to every situation you encounter. So begin with small, deliberate acts. When you notice self-criticism creeping in, pause and counter it with a blessing. I am doing my best. I am learning and growing. I am worthy of care and understanding. Let these statements sink in, not as fleeting words, but as foundational truths that guide your thinking, feeling, and acting. With time, these practices strengthen the inner architecture of your life, making it possible to navigate challenges with grace rather than resistance. Remember, self-compassion is the soil in which blessings take root. Without it, affirmations are hollow. With it, they become a force of transformation. By speaking blessings upon yourself, you do more than soften your inner voice. You create the conditions for a life that is richer, fuller, and profoundly aligned with who you are meant to be. Now that we understand the profound power of words and the transformative role of self-compassion, the next step is practical. How do we intentionally speak blessings into our lives every day? Because knowledge alone, no matter how deep, is not enough. Transformation requires action, and speaking blessings is not about empty repetition or superficial optimism. It is a deliberate, structured practice that engages both mind and heart, rewiring your thoughts and shaping your reality. One of the most effective ways to integrate blessings into your daily life is through morning rituals. There is something sacred about starting the day with conscious intention. Even a few minutes of focused affirmations can set a tone that permeates the hours that follow. The key is specificity. A blessing such as I am open to growth and abundance today is more potent than a vague wish for a good day because it primes your mind to notice opportunities, to act with confidence, and to approach challenges with resilience. By articulating your intentions clearly, you create a psychological framework that guides behavior rather than leaving it to chance or habitual reaction. But speaking blessings is not merely a morning exercise. It is a continuous dialogue, a practice of mindfulness applied to the way we think and respond. Consider the moments when self-doubt creeps in, when fear or hesitation threatens to take over. These are the exact moments when speaking blessings is most crucial. Pause, acknowledge the fear, then deliberately affirm your strength and potential. I have the wisdom to navigate this challenge. I am capable of handling this with grace. Each statement, repeated and reinforced, interrupts negative neural patterns and replaces them with empowering ones. Over time, these small interventions accumulate, transforming the architecture of thought itself. Another powerful tool is journaling. Writing your blessings forces clarity, focus, and reflection. There is a tangible quality to seeing your words on paper as though you are planting seeds in fertile soil. You can revisit these entries, noticing patterns of growth, resilience, and emerging possibility. Journaling also allows you to articulate blessings for specific areas of your life: career, relationships, health, personal growth, ensuring that the practice is not generic but deeply relevant to your lived experience. Visualization complements both speaking and writing blessings. When you articulate your blessings, imagine them as already true. Feel the confidence, the peace, the joy that these blessings bring. Neuroscience shows that visualization activates the same neural circuits as actual experience. When you combine verbal affirmation with mental imagery, you are training your mind and body to inhabit the state of the life you desire. It is no longer a distant goal. It becomes a lived reality in the present moment. Consistency is the linchpin of this practice. One blessing spoken in a moment of insight is valuable, but repeated daily with intention, the effect is exponential. Habits, whether of thought or action, are formed through repetition. Speaking blessings consistently rewires the mind to seek the positive, the possible, the abundant. It transforms language from passive reflection to active creation. Ultimately, the act of speaking blessings is an exercise in both mindfulness and mastery. You are observing your inner dialogue, choosing to redirect it, and reinforcing a vision of yourself that aligns with your highest potential. Each word, each phrase is a declaration: I am worthy, I am capable, I am open to life's abundance. The more deliberate and heartfelt these declarations are, the more profoundly they shape your reality. So commit to the practice. Speak your blessings with intention, write them with clarity, and visualize them with conviction. Transformation does not happen by accident. It happens when you engage fully, consistently, and consciously in shaping your inner world. And as you do, you will find that life begins to respond, not through chance, but through the deliberate power of the words you choose to live by. As we cultivate the practice of speaking blessings to ourselves, a remarkable phenomenon begins to unfold: the ripple effect. The transformation does not remain contained within the private corners of our minds. It expands outward, subtly reshaping every interaction, every relationship, and every opportunity that life places before us. The blessings we speak to ourselves influence the energy we radiate, and that energy touches the world in ways we may never fully measure, but we can certainly feel. When you bless yourself, you begin to act differently. Confidence emerges not from arrogance, but from alignment with your true potential. Decisions become clearer because they are guided by a sense of inner support rather than fear or self-doubt. Challenges, once intimidating, are approached with curiosity and resilience rather than avoidance. People sense this shift because energy is contagious. When your inner dialogue is positive, nurturing, and affirming, it transforms your presence. Others respond to you differently. They mirror your energy, and relationships deepen. Collaborations flourish, and opportunities align with the clarity and authenticity you radiate. This ripple effect is rooted in psychology as well. Studies in social neuroscience show that emotional states are not isolated. They are transmitted between people through subtle cues, tone of voice, body language, even micro expressions. When your internal state is one of blessing, of affirmation and acceptance, it creates a feedback loop in which your environment responds in kind. The kindness, compassion, and confidence you cultivate internally are reflected back to you externally. In other words, by changing your internal narrative, you are simultaneously shaping your external reality. Philosophically, this is the essence of what it means to be a conscious creator. Life is not merely something that happens to us. It is a dialogue, a co-creation between our inner world and the world we inhabit. When we bless ourselves, we are actively participating in that creation. Every thought, every word, every affirmation becomes a deliberate contribution to the life we wish to live. The ripple is not selfish. It extends naturally to family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. By honoring and valuing yourself, you elevate the collective energy around you. The practical manifestation of this is profound. People who consistently bless themselves report increased clarity in relationships, greater courage to pursue opportunities, and a heightened sense of purpose. They navigate conflict with steadiness, embrace change with curiosity, and find that doors that once seemed closed begin to open. This is not coincidence. It is the inevitable outcome of a mind and heart aligned with possibility, gratitude, and self-respect. Every blessing spoken internally becomes a seed of transformation, not just for you, but for the environment you inhabit. And yet, the ultimate power of this practice is its universality. You do not need extraordinary circumstances or external validation to begin. The ripple starts with a single act of conscious self-blessing, repeated and nurtured over time. It is in the quiet moments, acknowledging your worth, affirming your strength, envisioning your highest potential, that the most profound change begins. These moments, accumulated day by day, reshape not only your life, but the collective energy you contribute to the world. So I invite you to embrace this practice fully. Speak blessings that honor your courage, your creativity, your resilience. Let them guide your thoughts, inform your decisions, and radiate into every corner of your life. Understand that every word spoken to yourself is a declaration of possibility, and every blessing becomes a force that ripples outward, transforming your world in ways both subtle and profound. Remember this: the life you desire is not separate from the life you create within. When you bless yourself, you are not merely speaking words, you are shaping reality. The ripple begins inside, but it will carry far beyond you. Speak blessings and watch how your world responds. Transformation is not just possible, it is inevitable.